If you're trying to become the kind of woman who gets compliments everywhere she goes, it's probably not going to be for the reasons that you were thinking. And here are a few habits that make a very lasting impression. My darlings, welcome back to my channel. For those of you that are new here, I'm Fran's Kompany, and in my channel, I help you become your best self. So if you're interested in this type of videos, make sure to subscribe, like, and share this video to someone who you think needs to start their elegance journey. Point number 1 is she has beautiful etiquette. She says her please, she says her thank yous, she waits in line for her turn, she waits even to speak when it's her turn. She doesn't just interrupt people, and she treats people with respect. It doesn't matter if you are a CEO to a waiter or just a homeless person. She treats everyone with respect and fairness. That's very important, especially in this society, that you are able to give back as much good as you are receiving. And there are a few ways to demonstrate this. Just remembering people's name. Now, here's the thing. I know sometimes we forget. I even forget people's name. I'm not going to hold you to it. But I know, like, growing up, my family, or just where I come from, they used endearment terms. Instead of just remembering someone's name, which you should at some degree if you're going to have a long-lasting relationship or friendship or whatever with this person, you should genuinely remember their name. Okay, don't make up another name for them unless you're very that close and they understand you and you understand them and you guys have this bonding of jokes, then go ahead. But if you are not close to the person, if a person is named John or Sam, keep their name, okay? Call them that. But a hack for you ladies who just want to go broader, you can call them honey. Like, I personally just call everyone darling. Like, genuinely, it doesn't matter if you're a gentleman, it doesn't matter if you're a lady, a child, whoever you are. You may be a granny, I will call you darling, because I feel like it's such a genuine thing. I really feel like you are my darling, and it brings a person to that baby form where they feel cherished and appreciated and they feel soft. You get to like touch a person's heart, especially when you talk to them in that matter of calling someone darling. Like, yes, darling. I genuinely just say darling to everything. And, even in an argument, I would genuinely just be like, darling, let's stop this. Okay, like, what's going on? Even in a conversation that you feel like it's not going in a very smooth way, you can just say, hey, darling, let's continue this another time. And you will see by the person's expressions that they will feel like you still think of them in the same light as before the argument or the conversation or whatever it is. So darling is a very good endearment term to use. I know the Black community uses this a lot, especially not just the Black community. I know the older generations, like the baby boomers, they love using that. And everyone up there, they call you sweetie, they call you honey, they will call you anything but your name, which is amazing. I love it. I genuinely would love all of you ladies to just pick a term of endearment and use it. And here's one thing that you should remember, that sometimes people, do kind of not take offense to it, but they take it personally. Those are the type of people that are not used to being called with such words or, such endearments. But it just proves that there's no need for them to act like you are confessing your love, And I've gotten like a lot of people that ask me, do I think that they are special because I call them darling? And I'm like, you are as special as everyone else, because you have a very unique name. Even if I did not call you darling and I called you by your real name, you would still be special. So it's not something that you should feel like I'm confessing my love and to her family. No. You are as special as everyone else. So you are somebody's baby. You are still somebody's baby, and I'm acknowledging that fact, and I'm bringing you to your baby-like form and calling you darling. So just take it, okay? There's no need to make it awkward for me and you, because why would you even ask me that? But ladies, try to get a word of endearment and call someone that. And now there's another thing that you have to be careful with, because you don't want to sound like you're forcing a word of endearment. Try something that sounds like you, something like you would say. If you know that you have grown up to be a little masculine, which there's nothing wrong with that. We can control our circumstances or how we grew up, but at the same time, if you grew up in that light of masculinity and you just trying to like change it to calling somebody sweetie, it won't really go. It doesn't really match up, and a lot of people will see it as forced. So try to find something that actually goes with you. And for an example, darling, you can have that. You can have doll, you're such a doll, honey. These are a lot of words. Search it up and find the one that actually best suits you. Don't just be saying words of endearment when it doesn't go together with your character or your behavior. Say something that you would say if you chose to, or if you sat in your most feminine form. What would you say? Go with that. And before I jump into the next point, I just want to point out that you shouldn't just also use the words of endearment with people that are above you. Let's say, for an example, your pastor. You can't be going around calling your pastor darling. You cannot be calling your boss darling unless you guys have another type of relationship and you guys are maybe close friends, or yes. But if it's a person that is just above you in that sense, just don't do it. Make sure to keep the relationship. Make sure to call them by Mr. or Mrs. or Madam. Call them by those terms, unless they also told you, no, go ahead, just call me Peter, I'm cool. Then go ahead. But again, keep the respect there, keep the formalities there too. Just because you can use words of endearment doesn't also mean that you should just use it with your boss, honestly, because it's gonna kind of change your whole relationship from employee to boss. Even if he doesn't think about it that way, or you don't think about it that way, at a certain degree, you guys have crossed the line, or you crossed the line where it feels even awkward for him. Another point is she isn't glued to her phone. When she's with someone, she's present. That alone is very rare. Isn't a good sign, especially if it's just your first date or even your second date. If you haven't gotten to know the person in the long run, don't stay glued to your phone. Not just the person that you were dating, but if you're around random people, if you are in a meeting, don't stay glued to your phone. You may be doing some research, but that's not an appropriate place to do it. Excuse yourself. The best thing for you to do if you really have to check your phone is excuse yourself. And if you have to check your phone right there that second, don't let it be for like hours or even 10 to 5 minutes. No, keep it brief, keep it short, and make the other person understand and tell them, I'm sorry, I need a minute. And they will give you your minute and you text or do whatever. That's it. It doesn't make it doesn't mean you should go around scrolling on TikTok or scrolling just trying to do random stuff because you are so bored. If you are so bored, you excuse yourself rather than disrespecting everyone that's sitting on the table like that. You excuse yourself. Make an excuse. Tell them that you have to leave, that you got something urgent that you have to do. Whatever you do, don't get on your phone. Unless you are in danger, which it would actually be very even worse for you if you checked your phone while you were currently in danger. Now, I'm not saying don't check your phone. I'm saying excuse yourself. Because if you are in a situation where you are in danger and you're checking your phone, it will alert the other person that's putting you in danger that you're trying to get them in trouble. So you should probably just excuse yourself, make an excuse, leave. That's it, But don't stay glued to your phone. And even if you're going to be playing a video for the other person to see, make sure that the volume is as low as can be, and if they have to hear the thing, just pull it closer to the ears so they can hear it. Now, don't blast music. I would be like sitting having dinner, and they would be like couples that will be like, playing loud music, or even friends playing like loud music on their phone, and they're like laughing, and it's even noisier when they laugh. And sometimes some of us just want to have a peaceful dinner. Some of us don't need all that. We just want to have a peaceful dinner and leave, and it doesn't make us people that aren't happy with our lives. It just makes us people that just want to enjoy a meal. Can I just enjoy a meal? And if you guys do have to listen to loud music, can you excuse yourself and maybe do it outside, or when you guys aren't in public like this? This isn't a park. In a park, you can blast music as loud as you want, but we are in a very respectful area. We are all trying to have dinner. Can we just do that in peace? And that goes for you, that you should also respect other people's space. That if someone is dining, you shouldn't just be blasting loud music or doing any of those kind of stuff. It's really not appropriate, And if someone is talking to you while you are dining, you should look them in the eyes. Speaking about looking at people in the eyes, I have like tons of people. I don't know why I always get compliments. Like everywhere that I go, I'm always like getting compliments. Like genuinely, people would just compliment me, and they would be like, I love how you just look at me. You like are staring at me and paying attention. And I'm like, what else am I supposed to do? And they're like, yeah, like normally people look around, like you look at me for 3 seconds and you look around. I'm like, I can't do that, unfortunately. I feel like for me to actually listen to you, I have to look at you. Like I'm looking at your eyes. And as you're talking to me, I'm, listening to you. So go ahead. Instead of me, if I start, just trust me, the moment that I start looking around, whatever you said, I've heard nothing. I heard sounds, but I couldn't make up whatever you were saying because the voice is in my head. Everything around me, my eyes, everything is playing around. I'm like all over the place now. But if I'm looking at you straight in the eyes, I'm more attentive. I'm listening to every single vocabulary that's coming out of your mouth, and they love it. So ladies, take that as a hack. Look at people in the eyes. You can blink. Don't stare at people like for like 2 minutes straight without blinking. That's awkward. That's very weird. Why wouldn't you blink? Like, on a serious note, why don't you want to blink? You should blink. That's creepy. If you can't blink for 2 minutes, I will genuinely get up and leave, because what do you mean you can't blink? So blink. You can blink, do the whole thing, look someone in the eyes, blink, stare at them, smile. Don't just, stare at someone with a straight face. No, smile. You are a lady. Have your posture straight. Remember, open your chest. So you sit straight, and you just pull back your chest, and you'll be okay. And smile, and sometimes throw in a laugh. You're like, throw it in. You don't have to do the whole ha ha ha. Like, no. We don't do that. And if you have been watching my videos for a long time, then you also know that when you smile, you don't have to show all your teeth. We don't need to be seeing all that. You know, a good smile would be you smile without your teeth showing. Make sure your eyes. A fake smile will show because of the eyes. You should learn to smile with your eyes too. And when you wake up in the morning, you practice that. Practice a genuine smile, because if you're just giving a polite smile, it shows that it's just polite. But a genuine smile, someone who actually gets away with a lot of stuff, especially if you're trying to get like into the whole seduction game, right? Which we'll get into that in another video. But polite smiles and genuine smiles. A polite smile just has your smile, sometimes your teeth in there, and your eyes will still stay dull, your eyes will still stay in shape. But a genuine smile, it will show, because there will be fine lines at the outer corners of your eyes. That's how you know, okay? And your cheeks will lift up. I'm not saying give them the whole, the Joker smile. If you tried that, I'm out of the door. The moment that I started even seeing your smile, I'm already gone. So just practice that in the mirror. Make sure that you are softening your eyes. That's the whole point of it. Your eyes are softened. You don't have to show all your teeth. You don't have to have your tongue out. You will be just all right. Now let's move on, ladies, to she speaks with intention, and she doesn't feel the need to talk over people or fill every silence. There's a difference between an uncomfortable silence and just a normal silence. A normal silence is that we are all used to each other and we feel that we can all do our own things. A normal silence is basically what you and your best friend do. You text for today and you guys are cool, you catched up and all that, and then next week you guys go again and you text and do all those fun things, and just in between everyone is doing their own business, they're living their lives, but then you all know that you will be okay when you guys reconnect. Sometimes in a relationship it shows up too, but we all have different types of attachment, which involves sometimes another person needs to be in contact and know the other one is okay for them to feel secure. It doesn't mean that they are insecure in a sense of like they just desperately want to know what they're doing. No, it just means that I want to know if you are safe. That's it. Are you okay? Okay, that's fine. That's all I need. Okay, now the insecure type of silence would be the ones where you have to know where they're at, what they're doing, what did they eat when they woke up. That's insecurity. Okay, and you don't have to be ashamed because you are insecure. Sometimes we don't even control it, but you can work your way out of it. Don't think just because you're insecure you have to just stay there just because. No, you can work your way to a secure attachment. And on the same point of she speaks with intentions involves the fact that she's not just gonna cuss you out. She's gonna be very polite with you. She's gonna look at you and make sure that she's hearing what you're saying. She's gonna give you advice based on what you're saying, and if you asked her a question, she's gonna answer your question. That's it. She's not gonna be rude about it, and she's not gonna do anything crazy unless you're very disrespectful. Then, my ladies, you have all permission. You have all my permission. You have permissions of all elegant women to be nice, nasty. Don't be disrespectful, just nice, nasty. We can dive into some nice, nasty words in another video. I will teach you guys some terms to use, but then at the same time, don't just sit there and take disrespect. If someone disrespects you, you be nice, nasty, and you get up and leave. You don't have to wait for their permission to tell you to hang up or to leave, or no, you tell yourself to get up and leave. That's it. Okay, let's move on to the next point. She keeps her words. If she says that she's gonna be there at 6, she's gonna be there at 6. That's it. And if she knows that she's going to be late, she's going to confirm with you that, hey, I'm running a little late. Can we postpone it? Can we cancel? Can we do all that? Can we move it to a certain time? But if she doesn't change anything and 6 stays 6, then that's what's going to happen. 6 will stay 6. Reliability is very attractive. You can rely on her. She's gonna be able to pick up your call. If you call and she doesn't maybe pick up, she will call you back. She will send you a text to maybe text her what's going on. Are you okay? That is very attractive. To be, it doesn't mean that you just have access to her anytime, but then it gives you access in knowing that if you ever needed her, she will be there. And at the same time, she also knows how to protect her peace. She also knows not to give too much of her time, not to give too much access. She will help you because, she knows that you need her, that other people need her, but then she will protect her peace. She will go ghost randomly because she's trying to recover all her energy that she's been pouring into helping other people. And I do that a lot of the time. I genuinely disappear. And there will be times where, I'm out here, I'm socializing, I'm interacting with people, but there's just times where I have to recharge. I have to be by myself to just be able to think, to process all the energies that I was around, to make sure that I'm getting enough rest for myself. That's how I recharge. I don't just, go ghost on random people or just stuff like that. No, I have to recharge. I will be back, but until then, I have to recharge. I have to see if there's anything in me that needs fixing, and and also if I was in a little argument or something like that, it gives me time to refresh about what did I say wrong, what did the other person say wrong, how did I react, was my reaction a good reaction, was I wrong for that? If it wasn't, then I have to apologize. Then I have to take a step back. I don't have to be nagging the person and be like, hey, have you forgiven me? No, that's a statue of an elegant woman. Is that when she knows that she's wrong, no matter how arrogant, how her ego would go or how arrogant she might be, she will make sure that she gets to a point where she teaches herself to humble herself to that degree where she has to take accountability. Even if the other person won't do it, she has to. I do it. That I sometimes would, do some stuff that isn't right. But then at the same time, my ego just would just vanish, leaves me and my 1 cent, not even my 2 cents, my 1 cent, and it would bring me to a place where I get to reflect on my own. And that's critical thinking. You sit there and to a point where you think about your own thinking. It doesn't make you crazy, and I know that's one of the highest level of intelligence. The part where you think about your own thinking. It's not even about thinking about what another person says. That's easy. That's the easy part. Anyone can do it. Even a baby can do it. A toddler, they can do all that. But a person who can think about their own thinking, why did you act like this? Was it right for you to act like this? Okay, what are you going to do to fix it? Do you think that will work? Okay, then let's give it a try. And you go to a point where you want to leave the past in the past, and you apologize and you say, I was wrong, I reacted this way, my reaction wasn't good, but it also proves that I am human, but I'm taking full accountability on how I reacted. And I too forgive you, even if they don't apologize. The fact that you forgave them, you don't have to. Sometimes, letting things, karma is such a beautiful thing. Karma is such a beautiful thing. I don't believe in bad karma. For myself, I don't believe that. I don't believe in evil evil, anything evil that can. No, I don't believe that, because I believe that I pour out to the world, and all the good things that I've done will literally scream for me. It overweights any bad thing that would have happened. I just don't believe in, good things always happen for me. I tell myself that because I choose to be genuine, because I choose to be good to other people. I know that one day that good will scream for me, that I may not, have done something good, but in the fact that I did this today, it's going to pay a price for me tomorrow. That's how you think. And that's such a beautiful thing. Okay? So ladies, don't be dwelling into problems and all that. If you are fighting with someone or in an argument, or if someone doesn't just want to talk to you and all that, you apologize. Send them a text. Call them. Apologize. And if they don't take it, that's for you. It's not even something that you have to think about for the rest of your life. We all have 24 hours. 24 hours. Nobody has 22. Nobody has 27. We all have 24 hours. The clock goes from 11 p.m. to 12 a.m. All of us are in reset. There's no one that's special that's going to say, no, I went to 25. The only reason they went to 25, or they could even use that sense of going into 25, chose to sacrifice an hour of the next day. Then, of course, they chose to stay up or work for 25 hours or whatever. It's in that sense. But in reality, even they are very much aware of this, that the clock restarts for all of us. And if you think I'm wrong, trust me, the next day, that same day, on their calendar, they're going to flip it over. It's going to be the same day as you. When they write it in their books, it's going to be the same day as you. When they check their phone, it's going to be the same day as you. To prove that there's no one that's going to be living and, having more hours than you. No. It depends on how you want to spend your hours. That's it. That's the difference between you and them. They're choosing to sacrifice an hour of their next day to better themselves. You are choosing to maybe do something else to maybe better yourself or not. It just depends. There's no one that's above the other in general, but in what makes another person better is what they're choosing to do with their 24 hours. Some people spend their 24 hours trying to put another person down. Some people don't even focus on their 24 hours. Some people are just genuinely focusing on their 24 hours, really going in. What are you doing with your 24 hours? Are you doing anything to better yourself? So if someone decides to not talk to you, or someone decides that whatever you guys went through was so horrendous that they cannot, fathom to even listen to you, okay, it's their healing journey. Give them time to heal. And when I say time, it means step back. Genuinely step back and live your life to the fullest. Go all in, live your life. And when they are ready, then that's fine. A lot of people, we all have different healing systems. Just because I need space to heal doesn't mean you need space to heal. Maybe you need to come closer to me to heal. Maybe you need a year to heal. Maybe you need a month. Maybe you need, a specific thing, an object. Some people need maybe their previous teddy bears or that they had growing up. We all have different healing systems. So you shouldn't also be holding stuff on other people. Just saying. Let's move on, ladies. And ladies, if you have not subscribed yet, make sure to subscribe and leave a comment down below. Well, back to the topic of she dresses appropriately. I spoke about this a long time ago, 2 years ago, but since time has passed, it's maybe time for me to bring it back. And we can dive deeper into this topic in another video. But the first impression that someone has of you, it's not gonna be what you what you said. It's not going to be any of that. It's going to be how you look. That's the first impression someone will have of you, unless, the person is blind. Then that's another bracket. But majority of us here, the first impression that I will have of you is not what you said. It's going to be how you looked. Because you may be homeless. You may be looking like a homeless person and speaking facts. And I promise you that 90% of this world will ignore you. I'm not even going to be here and be like, no, I won't ignore you. I too. Everyone else will ignore you. Why? Because your presentation. Humans are attracted to attractive things, attractive people. That's how it is. So you have to present yourself to the level of rooms that you are going into. You have to represent that. It doesn't also involve just you have to be in that room for you to represent that. If you are looking for a job as a salesperson, dress like that. How do salespeople dress? Embody that. Learn to be in that atmosphere already. I remember growing up, I was so interested in the whole topic of elegance and etiquette that I had a aunt actually who I love until today, and she would embody this statue so well, and the way she did things, it was so interesting that she would carry herself in this type of manner, and she wouldn't have to say 10 words. She would just say something and it stays that. And everyone respected her. I wanted to be like her. She was like my role model. And it was the same thing as Meghan Markle. When I couldn't see my aunt, I had the figure of Meghan Markle. And in the age of social media, you could just go, and that is before Meghan Markle got married to the prince. So I remember even drawing her little dress, her wedding dress. I still have it until today. I drew the dress because I was so interested in how she became such a, an elegant woman, the way she spoke. And it made it even better when she became a princess, because I was like, oh my God, really? And she started dressing so feminine, and if you watched Meghan Markle's shows and movies, then you understand that the Meghan that she was before the movies and the Meghan now is two different people, basically. And seeing her transform like that, it inspired me to be able to change too, to be able to believe that I can change. If Meghan could, I can too. And so I started learning how she walked, and I saw that Meghan loved wearing a lot of heels, and I was like, I want heels. So my brothers would literally get me now more heels, because that's all I'm talking about. I want heels. And I got heels. My brothers got me like headbands, and they got me like coats. And I was like, yes, this is what I want. And which is very weird, because growing up, I grew up in a house of just boys. And in that, you kind of adapt into being somewhat like a boy, right? I played soccer, and I played netball. I played athletics. I did all of that, basically. So in being like that and seeing your brothers doing all this crazy stuff, like one of my brothers played rugby, another one came and they were like swimming, and another one was doing athletics, and another one was like, they were all just blended. It's not like they just stick to like one person stick to like rugby. No, they played different spots. One person played different, and they were like getting all these trophies. And I'm introduced to that world, so now I want to do it. Now I want to learn those kind of stuff. And I've always been open about this. It kind of made me a little avoidant, because now I'm doing very masculine stuff, so it's really hard for me to tap into my femininity until I was introduced to ladies, because my brothers grew up and they kind of started hanging out with their friends more. And in doing that, yes, they would buy me like they would buy me like pink jackets, but let me just emphasize that when they got me the shoes, it would have to be a Puma shoes and pink. Like they were trying to embody both the feminine and the masculine together in one shoes. And they're like, here's a gift. It's both man and woman. You choose who you want to be. So most of my stuff that I owned, it was just embodying two energies at once. And I've always been open that it made me avoidant, a very big avoidant, but I chose to get out of that. But until I remember we got a housemaid, and she actually loved watching Indian movies. And this is just a small story time, but she loved watching Indian movies, and she laughed a lot. She was not like a very loud laugh. No, she was like a genuine laugh, like and just those stuff were not funny at all, like at all. And my brothers were not around, so when I come back from classes, she was the only one that was there. So I would sit with her, and we're watching Indian movies. And as I was sitting with her, and the way she was doing, she was like taller than me, like way taller. She was like a tall lady. And she would walk and move her hips and stuff like that. And when she spoke, she would speak and give you so much respect. And my brother is being younger than her, she's giving like so much respect to them. And I'm like, I want that. Like, teach me that. And then she started telling me that a lady has to do like this, a lady has to wash her hands this many times. And we would sit down and watch Indian movies. And as we started watching it, I also started getting that mentality of how to behave like a elegant woman. Because I think with Indian women, they are very feminine in a way. Yes, they are mean. Don't get it twisted, they are mean, but then at the same time, they're very feminine. Even the way they dress, do you not see it? The way they dress, the way they talk, especially in the movies, they're very dramatic. And if you picture it, a lady is very dramatic. Ladies are very dramatic. You may just get a little cut and it's the end of the world. So in a movie, the movies were truly embodying that someone would just fall and they like screaming, and it's like slow motion, and the guy's like, no, all that, and you seeing it play out, and she's like giggling, and I'm like, no, it's not funny, stuff like that. But when I started getting introduced more to shows of girly things, and I didn't want to play sports anymore, which now forced my brothers to kind of like start buying me girly stuff. And I remember they got me like a new phone patch, and it had like this it was like a famous thing that people did, but it had like the handle behind the porch where you can just put your two fingers and just hold the phone without doing all that. Yeah, it was very cute, and it was like floral. All those kind of stuff came into play. And it taught me how to tap out of my masculinity in a way. And this is just to say, ladies, that if you did grow up in an environment like that, or even a tough environment, it doesn't have to even be where you grew up with just a man in the house. It can be maybe you grew up in a very bad neighborhood. It could be that you grew up in survival mode, or just trying to feed everyone, and you did not actually take time to yourself. This story should inspire you that you can change. If I could, you definitely can too. And I think I've done a very good job with myself. I am still proud. Yes, I still am working with a lot of things about myself. I'm still discovering myself in a way too as I age, what I like, what I don't like. But it takes time. But at the same time, when you are learning more, that's it. You are way ahead. Now, let's go back in the topic of dress for the occasion. It just means that you can't be going around wearing mini skirts in a job interview. You can't be going around wearing sweats in a job interview. Even if it's for a very normal 9-to-5 job, dress appropriately. You don't have to be looking like you just came out of the Met Gala, but it means that you respect yourself and you respect, the environment that you were going into so much that you would put time into dressing for it. And it actually also shows the other person that, you are the kind of people that they want. So dress appropriately. And wear ties, there's other ways to do that. I actually love the way finance bros wear, because it's so casual, but you can do anything with it. Honestly, it passes. With most of the stuff, a finance bro's outfit will pass. We can talk deeper into this in another video, but no, I don't know what they call those types of pants where it's just cut all over your knees, it's cut all over your thighs, and no, we don't do that. Over here, we don't do that. We don't wear crop tops too. Avoid crop tops, avoid those pants, avoid anything that's see-through like that. If it's gonna be see-through, you must be at the beach. If it's not, then you have to wear an undergarment that's same tone, not as your skin, but as like the pants outside. Because if it's the same tone as your skin, then you kind of look naked. So if it's the same tone as the pants that you're wearing, then it's not going to look like we all just seeing you right there. Have your clothes ironed all the time. And I don't personally iron them, I steam my clothes. But if you can't iron them, still works. You don't have to go all fancy like that. And make sure you're dressing for your body type. I see a lot of women dress, and the dress is very beautiful, and it may even be expensive, but you're not dressing for your body type, so it looks cheap. That's why it doesn't look nice, because you're not dressing for your body type. Look for your body type. Are you a pear shape? Are you an hourglass? Are you just thin? Look for whatever body type that you have and dress for it. Do you have tall legs? Do you have skinny hands? What do you have? And then go with it. And it's the same thing with your nails. Look for the type of nails that would suit you better. Just because somebody else did acrylics doesn't mean you should do acrylics. Because what if your hands were made for just French? Stick to what suits you. We have 2 more points, and she makes people feel comfortable. She includes people in conversation. She makes them feel like they can open up to her, that they can trust her. Now, another thing, you shouldn't be making people feel like they can trust you with big secrets, as in things that would get you into trouble. You shouldn't even want to know that. Just because they can trust you like that doesn't mean that you should know. Okay, you will be there for them, but it doesn't mean that you have to know. Sometimes it's just for the best, but you make people feel comfortable. You include them in conversation. If you are sitting in a group and you feel like one person is being left out, you include them. You ask them, what do you think? I'm more interested in you. That's how you feel. You make a person feel more involved and more included. That you tell them that I'm more interested in you. Not anyone that spoke here. I'm more interested in you. What do you like? Because I know that you're thinking. I read so much about you, and I've seen the way you work, and everything about you just gives a legend. It gives Mark Zuckerberg. Who are you? Basically, tell us about yourself. Now a person feels very confident in themselves, that you have put them in a bracket where they feel most appreciated, and even comparing them to a legend. Now I want to talk about myself, because what do you mean? Do you see what's happening here? That's psychology for you. Now let's move on to the last option. We have, she leaves every place a little better than she found it. If you go into a space, if you go into a relationship, if you go into a friendship, don't go in there trying to ruin another person's life. Don't be the reason someone actually has a bad life. Don't be the reason why someone felt like they couldn't do anything, or they are stuck or in calamities. Don't be the reason. You are a lady. You are there to make them better. You are there to maybe have a long-lasting love life with them. But don't try to ruin other people's life. I don't know what's the point of even trying to do that. What do people gain from trying to ruin someone else's life? Your whole thing is just to ruin someone's life. I'm so direct that I would genuinely ask somebody that. So your whole theme is just for you to ruin people's lives, just to criticize them? Okay, then what is your whole point? Oh, okay, so it's just to criticize people. Okay, I see. Okay. Very nice. Don't be the reason someone else decides to not want to feel motivated in bettering themselves. You are a lady. You are there to help them as much as they will help you. Don't overgive. If you see that you are giving more, you have to kind of stop. You will end up giving things that even belong to you, things that you should be pouring to yourself. You end up giving it while knowing very well that you have no way else of getting it. So don't overgive to you can only give what you have. When it gets to a point where it's between you and the other person, you always pick you. Okay? I'm not even trying to be selfish. You pick you. Because if this was another person, the person that you were thinking about right now, if it was them on the line, they would pick themselves. So you always pick you. They will be fine. Trust me. If there's one thing that you should know, always remember this, that your heart will not let you die. Your heart will do every single thing. Even your mind, it will do anything just to keep you alive. Why do you think that someone will try to suffocate you, and you will scream, you will try to scratch them, you will do every single thing just to stay alive? That's your mind, that's your heart. It will fight until the last breath. So don't you believe that for 1 second that someone else, will just let themselves down like that. Their body may, but in their mind and their heart will fight. So don't sit there trying to be like, no, they won't fight. No. You are definitely gonna be okay. They will definitely be okay. If they need counseling, then you offer them some places to go. If you can't do it, if you have reached your limit, that's it. You will even end up ruining your mental health. Just imagine they are fine. They've healed. Now what about you? Where have you gotten to? Oh, you have decided to be a psychologist. Where have you gotten to? Oh, now you are from being a psychologist to being in a psych ward because you just loved saving people so much. No. You've done enough. We appreciate you. You've done a lot of charity work. It's now time to do some charity work for yourself. Can we do that? Can we? Anyways, ladies, I think this video is very long enough, and we can dive into more topics like this on my next video. If you want me to talk about a specific thing, you have any questions, just leave it down in the comment section. Don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to like and share this to any of your friends, family, girlfriends, wives, sisters, aunts, who you think needs to start their elegance journey. And I will speak to you all beautiful women next time. Bye.